What's up, everybody? Back at you with another story on Blood on the Razor Wire TV. We got Big John on today. You know, he was with them dudes like Tony Lewis, came up under them guys, Rayful Edmonds. We'll probably talk about a bunch of other stuff. But anyway, John, tell the people who you are, where you're from. Let's talk about your story, brother.
Hey, Chad, what's happening, man? My name Big John. They call me Jonathan, John. A lot of people that know me, I'm from the DMV area, Washington, D.C., born and raised in Washington, D.C., but I come up all over the Maryland area as well, Landover, Village Green, just the whole area. You know what I'm saying? Our circumference. You know.
What was life like for you growing up? I mean, did you grow up in DC?
Yeah, man. We grew up. Me and my brothers, we grew up in this place called the Plaza. Over on 13th and Rhode Island Avenue, right there by Montana Terrace, Brentwood, over that area, uptown. You know, my mom lived over on Morgan Street in Northwest, right there by Dunbar High School. And then we moved. You know, my dad, he made a few dollars, a little money, you know, with his good job. And we moved into the Maryland, the suburbs. And that was just a part of growing up, you know, in that area. And you know, when your mom and dad started getting money a little bit in the 70s like that, man, you know, that's what they did. They moved out into a suburb area to try to give us a better life, you know what I mean? And get us away from some of the things that we were already witnessing over there where we were living at, you know, like my older brother had already, you know, bear witness to murders and, you know, the dope game and stuff like that. You know, we was very young and, you know, had bear witness to that. And I was always up under his hip. And so we saw a lot, you know what I mean? We saw a lot at that age, man, you know, coming up over there in the Plaza, 14th and Rhode Island, 13th Rhode Island, 1st and Rhode Island, all down in that whole area. You know, it was just like an open, you know, air market, you know, for drugs. But back then it was mostly dope, heroin. You know what I'm saying?
Mostly dope, mostly heroin. How old are you when you actually move out to the suburbs of Maryland, when you finally leave?
I was young. I was a young man. I was about 7, 8 years old, 9. You know what I mean? And we moved out there and in this area called Village Green. And it's in Landover. But it's a well-known area on the map, even today, for some of the most, you know, vicious stuff that go on in this area, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of the guys, man, that live in DC and Maryland, that's why I have somewhat of a conflict with what some of the guys say, you know, when they be like, I'm from DC, I'm from Maryland, or niggas from PG, or brothers from this and that. Man, PG County, you can put your foot on DC and PG County at the same time. It's the same. It's no different. You know what I mean? The brother that's from PG County, right, he go to DC every day. You know what I mean? You can't go in PG County without going in DC. So, you know, I get kind of, you know, a little frustrated with people that geographically have it messed up. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, we all get along. We done been around each other. You know, I got buddies in PG that's just as vicious as guys that was in DC. It didn't make a difference. We all did the same thing. Most of us come up boxing, you know, and staying in the gyms and stuff like that. So it was just, that was how it was. You know what I'm saying?
Let me say this, right? Because a lot of times, you know, I'd say this all the time, and I met a lot of good DC dudes, a lot of good dudes from PG County, a lot of good dudes from Baltimore, people like Fudd, Brian Johnson. But, you know, anytime that a dude, man, ain't from DC, like if he don't have his foot on that other side, DC dudes be like, no, come on, Slim. He from DC, Slim. He from the DMV.
And that's
Slim.
crazy. And it's crazy, Chad, because you know why? It's a lot of buffoonery. You know what I mean? The average dude that stays out here or lives in PG County, he has been and has dealt and dovelled over into the DC area very much of his life. Very few people that stay in PG County. And when I say PG County, I'm talking about Landover. Like Landover is right next to DC, Northeast, Southeast. You can't go into Southeast without going into PG. You can't go into PG without going into Southeast. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just like a DC dude that comes over in Maryland to do what he do. You feel what I'm saying? And that's how it is. It ain't no difference. We dress the same. Some of us act the same. But you just got different people, man, and different people have different mentalities. When I come up, it wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? We didn't think that way. We didn't think, oh, because you from DC, you a Bama, or you from Maryland or PG. We just didn't do that, man. It was men. You know what I mean? So, I'm known in DC and I'm known in PG County. I'm known in Charles County. So, every area. When you a man, you can do whatever you need to do and go where you need to go without looking at another man and belittle him or think that he ain't, where he's supposed to be from. You know what I'm saying?
Say it all the time, brother. Men respect men. I don't care where you're from. If you're a man,
there
you're a
you
man,
go,
right?
Chad. There you go, bro. And that's the bottom line to it. And that's the marble of a man. You know what a man is the marble of being everything that he's supposed to be. You should be able to go anywhere and envelop yourself into whoever you need to be to make it with whoever you need to make it with. Make an adaptation to the circumstances. You know what I'm saying? And when you get so small-minded that you got to stick your foot into a geographical area and stay right there, you ain't never going to be nothing because you can't even touch the world with a mind like that,
Talk about your life of crime, right? I know you catch a big bid in the Fed, you do a bunch of time. What did you get yourself involved in and how does it happen? How do you get into the street?
Man, Chad, you know what? For real, I started getting in trouble at 12 years old, man. I was young. I was bad. You know what I mean? My mom and dad separated when I was a young kid. My oldest brother, who kind of had a little grip on me when I was young. He went into the military when I was young, and that kind of bothered me a lot. And the first thing my pop said when he left my mother was, "You the man of the house now." And I got a little brother that's living, under us and everything. And my mom, she's struggling. You know what I mean? I'm watching her struggle. And I'm like, shit, man, this is rough. You know what I mean? And every time I talk to my brother, he all the way in Germany. He can't touch us like that. You know what I'm saying? So he got all the little neighborhood older guys that loved our family, loved my brother, loved me. You know what I'm saying? They started taking me under their wing. You know what I'm saying? And because I was a roughhouse. You know what I'm saying? I started going to receiving home, Oak Hill, Maryland Training School, Cheltenham Boys Village, Montrose, 4th Street Camp. You know what I mean? I stayed locked up, man. Every month I was going to jail for something. My first charge was an armed robbery. You know what I'm saying? Me and a little buddy of mine, we went on a little spree and we robbed this guy, took his money from him and everything. And man, it was just on from there, Chad. You know what I mean? I think what it was more so though, I was missing that adult chastisement. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, the neighborhood that I was coming up in, it was almost like the guys kind of, I ain't gonna say praise me, but they like honored my strength. You know what I'm saying? They honored the way I was. At the same time, trying to keep their foot in my ass as well. You know what I'm saying? But you in one sense you telling me to be good, but in another sense you praising me to do what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So it was like a mixed message, and I took the wrong one. You know what I'm saying? And then when I started, dabbling out in the streets, you know what I'm saying? The first thing I could say, man, when I went to Maryland Training School for boys after I had that armed robbery charge, and I went to training school, I had went down Oak Hill, and I left Cedar Lawn, and I was transferred because I had 2 charges. I had transferred I had a stolen car charge, auto theft, and armed robbery. The car charge was in DC, and the robbery charge was in Maryland. So when I had to go to court for my the car charge, I mean, the robbery charge in Maryland, that's when they sent me to Maryland Training School for boys. And down there, it ain't nothing but like Baltimore dudes. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. There's very few Maryland dudes or DC dudes, very few at the DC guys. Not a lot of them, because see, DC had their own facilities just like Maryland do. DC had Cedar Oak Hill Receiving Home. Maryland had Maryland Training School and a host of other little, juvenile joints. I went to Maryland Training School. That's where I got 18 months. And I went down there and I escaped from there. And when I escaped with like 7 Baltimore dudes that I was real cool with. And I'm not going to lie, man, when I went into Baltimore City, right, them dudes turned me up, man. They turned me up. They showed me the dope game. They showed me how to do a lot of cutting dope. And I mean, we was like 13 to 14 years old. And I'm talking about these dudes getting $10,000, $20,000 at that age. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, damn, how the hell you do this? You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting there, man, and I'm coming back and forth from up my way to Baltimore to be with my buddies and everything, man. And I just started learning the ropes. And when I came back up to Maryland and DC, man, I was on to a click. You know what I'm saying? And I started getting real money. I'm talking about at 16 years old, I saw my first $100,000 cash of my own money. My father thought I robbed a bank. You know what I'm saying? But that's the difference of what the way we hustled back then to now. You know what I'm saying? We had morals and principles. We didn't just get out there and do stuff and kill brothers over a few dollars. Man, a dude might get away with you for like 5, 10 grand. We wasn't smacking their head for it. We just ain't mess with them no more. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't no value to us to hurt you over, you know what I'm saying, going to prison for the rest of our life. We just left you alone. You know what I'm saying? But that didn't make us no chump or nothing. It was just bigger than that, man. You know what I'm saying? So it was a big difference, man. And the more and more, that was my thing. I hustle, man. I hustle. And finally I got on with some dudes, man, some good men that I had in DC and in Baltimore. And I started pushing the water thing. And man, I'm talking about I was flooded with it. I had a whole bunch of it. You know what I mean? And I got a lot of money, man. And it changed my life. You know what I'm saying? When I say changed my life, it brought some good and some bad. You know what I mean? But don't think, because I say this to the young guys all the time, by no means am I glamorizing that lifestyle, because I'm saying some things about it that allow me to do some things that I think I would have never done. You understand what I'm saying? As a guy that's got money. But man, it's a bad flip side to it as well.
Ask you about that. When you talk about that water, you're talking about that PCP. Everybody was tripping down there.
Yeah, encyclodine. That's right. Yeah.
When you talk about it changed your life for the good, what were some of the good things that you did, man, because of that, because of the game that you got yourself into?
Man, I traveled, Chad. I've been out of the country. You know what I mean? I drove the best shit. You know what I mean? Benzes, Audis, cars that, guys wasn't even thinking about back then, man. Vol, and, just that life, man. In the 80s, that's what we did. You know what I'm saying? And, it was a cluster of men, man, that was getting money. You know what I'm saying? I don't classify myself, or assimilate myself to Rayful. I just came up in that era, but it was many men out here that you probably would never even hear about, that Ray wasn't just the only one in this town getting money. It was several men, several good men, you know what I mean, that never ratted, never told on nobody, just like myself. You know what I mean? I ain't never told on a soul, you know what I mean? And I never plan to.
Talk about this, right? We talked about the good, right? The good sounds good. Some dudes are listening right now. They're like, damn. But let's tell them about the bad, right? How much time you end up getting knocked by the feds, right?
Yeah. No, I got Maryland. I got busted in Maryland. Yeah, I was under investigation. I was under a 19-month investigation. Me and this guy, my brother was associating with, and this particular police, Maryland had just bought this task force out into the area at this particular time, and they had this brand new special task force that was going after, the bigger guys, the big fish of dealers, and we were on that list, man. You know what I'm saying? And for 19 months, man, they had investigated me, my brother, and another a friend of mine, and the dude that we was dealing with. He was a Fed. You know what I mean? And he was busting every big guy. You know, and I don't mention no names, but every dude that fell back in the 80s, all of us was in this penal system together just about at the same time. From 86 to like 88, it was just this one big raid of all the dudes that was really, really pumping and getting money with that water, and you know what I'm saying? And the dope thing too got knocked off back then. And this was my first adult offense ever in life. You know what I mean? And I got 40 years, man. 40 years for selling PCP water. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this. Let me stop you. First time you got anything serious going on, right? And they give you 40 years, right? How old are you at that time?
I was 17 when I got knocked off. 17.
You were 17 when you got a 40-year sentence?
I was, when I went to court. Well, I was 17 when we got busted. My lawyer kept me on the street for 2 years. So I turned an adult with that charge. You understand what I'm saying?
What was it like to get a 40-year sentence at that age? I know what it's like.
Man, 40 years, I ain't gonna lie, nigga. People talk that shit about, they don't hurt or it didn't matter, or man, all that shit went down the drain. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, this shit is crazy. I even asked the judge. I said, how the hell you expect me to do 40 years? I said, I ain't even 40 years old. You know, she said, you ain't think about that when you was out here doing what you was doing, big man. You know, she said, when you had the cell phones in your cars and you got 2 and 3 automobiles, you got caught with a whole bunch of money, all this PCP water, you ain't think about 40 years then. And she was right. I wasn't. But I ain't gonna lie, when that bar smacked my head with that 40 years, that shit, man, was like, I was like done. You know what I'm saying? Because all I kept trying to speculate is, man, how old I'm gonna be when I get out of this junk? You know, when I get out. You know, so, and then I was hurt. Man. I was in my heart. I was hurt because I was like, damn, man, I gave up boxing. I gave up football. I gave up all that shit for this shit, man. I turned my back on my dreams. You know what I'm saying? And I sold it. I sold my soul to the devil, man. You know, and that shit was like, I was when she said that, I was like, it was like a catch-22, like a mixed feeling I had, because it was a feeling of anger, like, yeah, okay, BICTH, I'm gonna do it anyway. You know what I mean? And then it was a feeling of like, man, you a damn fool. You know, you a goddamn fool. And then I kept thinking about what my father always told me. He said, rest his soul. He just died May the 31st of last 2 months ago. You know, that was my man, you know. And he told me, he said, son, he said, you gonna be dead or in jail by the time you turn 21 years old. And on my 21st birthday in prison, my father had never came to see me because he said he would never come and visit me for nothing like that, you know. But on my 21st visit, I was graduating from college inside the penal system, and we had a lawn visit, and my dad came up there and he said, I told you. And the shit broke my heart, man, because he did. You know what I mean? And that's just the other side of it, Chad. You know what I'm saying? That I try to tell the youngsters, man. You know, hey, look, man, that shit ain't worth it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I thank God, man, for saving my life. You know what I mean? And giving me an opportunity to change my mindset and to change the things that I was doing. When I look back today, like I tell my children, man, I've been through the fire for you. You do not have to go through this shit. Don't try it. Don't go at it. Don't get in it. You know what I'm saying? Because the best, the greatest thing in life, Chad, to anybody and to everybody that God give, it's time. It's time. That's the greatest commodity of life, man. When you start thinking about it, what the hell the police say? I mean, what the judge say? What they take from you when you go to jail? They take time away from you. They put you in a place and you waste your time and you waste time putting your life in a place. Love you, baby. Waste time putting you away. And you know what I'm saying? And it's time, man. Time is everything. And when you like us, Chad, when you was out there, same thing, man. They took time from you. That shit is you never get it back. You never get it back. Never, you know what I mean? I sit there and I tell the guys, man, I seen guys in the prisons and penal system. I seen dudes get a year, 2-3 years and go in penal system and die. And I see dudes with life make it home. You understand what I'm saying? I seen it happen. So you ain't, tomorrow ain't guaranteed to you. And I damn sure don't want to be in no cage and dealing with that every day, waking up, a nigga shitting in front of me. I got to pull over a sheet so I don't smell his ass. You understand what I'm saying? Nigga jingling his balls in front of my face. Man, I don't want to go through that no more, champ. I don't want to live like that.
So that 40 years, right? All the Benzes, all that good life, traveling, all that shit's gone. It's all out. It don't mean nothing now, right?
Man, it was to naught, man. It was to naught. And I'll tell anybody, all that slick shit dudes doing out here, all that, one dude banging on another dude over the petty shit, don't even give yourself time to think, man, before you make decisions and, let your emotions raw all up and you get into some shit that you can't cash your check on. You know what I mean? And either you go away or a dude go away. And if both of y'all really just take time to think, you'll realize that the shit that you beefing about ain't nothing anyway. So is it worth a man's life? That's one thing you can't do. One thing for sure and two things for certain is this, man. You can keep making money every day, all day, if you do it the right way. But you can't get that man life back that you take. Go to the graveyard. Take the time clock up there, 5 o'clock alarm clock, and turn that motherfucker on 5 o'clock and see if who get up at 5. You ain't getting up.
That's real, man. That's
yeah.
Real.
You have to get deep with yourself, man, to make these changes. You understand?
It's kind of like that Carlitos Way movie back in the day, right? He's laying there, he's dying. He says,
it's all the shit he said.
He says, yep. It's all over now, Jenny.
Yep.
It's all over.
It's all over.
Big time.
Big time. It's gone. It's you know what I mean? He never got a chance to see it. You know what I mean? And it's so deep to the point, man. I tell my children, my boys, man, I say, hey, dude, all it takes is one bad decision, one bad choice that you make can cost you the rest of your life. One choice, one bad decision. The decisions that you make are long lasting and life changing, man. Every one of them.
Talk about your prison experience, right? You get 40 years. How much time do you actually end up doing?
I did 17.
17 years straight, where? In the Maryland Department of Corrections?
Maryland penal system, yeah.
What was that like, man? 17 years. Now, I know you've seen a lot of shit. You've been through a lot of shit. What was it like, man?
Well, Chad, let me say this. First and foremost is I was kind of like paving my way to that gate. You know what I'm saying? I explained to you that I had been in juvenile facilities and stuff like that, and it was almost like patting my way to the adult places anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that I'll say that I had any fear. I think anything that we go into unknown, you got some kind of fear. I don't give a fuck what kind of man you is. You got some fact about you that makes you a little leery. You know what I mean, about what you're going into. You know what I'm saying? So I had that feeling from the gate. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, deep down inside of me, I put up a resilience to know. I said, man, I know for a fact, whatever goes down, that anybody try to pose any type of threat to my firm, they got to go away from it. But when I look at that today, what kind of conditioning of your mind that you got to put yourself through? You understand what I'm saying? And that's what we had. That's what I had to do. I had to become almost animalistic. You know what I mean? To the point where I can, look, man, you got to deal with this, and this is here now. And I never forget, man, getting on that big ass bus, going to they call it the diagnostic center. That's where you go to get classified to one of the joints. And I scored very high on the point system, like a 32. So that placed me in maximum security. So I went into what they consider the Baltimore Penitentiary, and I went over there. You're welcome, baby. I love you.
I love you more.
Thank you too. Excuse me, Chad. Yeah, but I went over to the Baltimore Penitentiary, and I stayed over there for like about 2 years. But man, I saw killings. I saw people get their necks slashed open. I saw people get burned up with baby oil. Man, I just saw some gruesome shit. You feel me? And I never forget it. I was coming out one day for this the first time I was reading this book. This is wild as shit. I was reading this book by George Jackson called Blood in My Eyes, right? And I was coming out of my cell, and my man Rick, he was from Richmond Penitentiary. He was my cell buddy, real good dude. And he was an older dude, and but we was real cool. And he had a whole selection of books that he used to let me read. You know what I'm saying? And just trying to get me on a different level of thinking and stuff like that. So I'm coming out of my cell early that morning, and Rick, he will always tell me. He said, "Don't never go out there, unprepared, shorty." You know what I mean? He said, man, make sure you geared up, right? So in my mind, I'm like, okay. Man, I steps out my cell, and it was a dude with some dreads named Muhammad. Him and this dude named Raheem was beefing, right? And I knew that because it was going on the tier, the section we was in. And every day something we come out from the yard or whatever, and it was like the cake was getting baked. You know what I'm saying? And I knew it, my man knew it, but you see things and you don't see it in there. You know what I mean? But it was so close to us because it was right next to my cell. So that morning we came out. My man hit me. He said, "Jay, you all right? You all right?" I said, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm good." He said, "Okay." So we coming out. They open up the cells, and how they had the bars in there, so you could take your mirror and stick your mirror out to see down the tail. You know what I'm saying? So my man, he got his. There you go. My man got the mirror, and he looking out the tip, but he watching my back when I'm stepping out, because he getting himself prepared to come out as well. So, one of us got out first because I brush my teeth and getting ready. I go out, then I'm waiting on him to come out. So we waiting. So as soon as he come out, he hit me. He said, "Nephew, come on back a little bit." And I ain't even peeping. I'm just telling you, I ain't peeping. He did. And my man come out the cell, man, and hit my man in the neck, man. Hit the dude, Muhammad, in the neck, dog. And all that. I was filled with blood. It just squirted everywhere, right? And I just watched the dude on the chair, man, just shake in convulsions, man, and go out, man. And I'm sitting there. When I'm sitting there, Chad, I'm like, my eyes was like, what the fuck? Excuse me, did I just see? And I'm not lying to you. I think at that moment, man, it was the coldest that I ever got in my life. It was that cold that I froze up and I said, this shit is real and I got to be ready. You know what I mean? And I made up in my mind that this wasn't going to never happen to me. You know what I'm saying? But that was like the first real thing that happened. Then I seen dudes get taken. When I say taken, you know what I'm talking about sexually. I watched them get played by certain dudes. You know what I mean? Dudes play them. You know, matter of fact, one dude I knocked out because I ain't like what he did to the young guy. You know what I'm saying? And the little young guy wasn't no bad little dude. You know what I'm saying? He was a good little kid. And the dude was just like an advantage taker. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, he kind of like was, you know, dealing with Shorty, was in his cell with him. You know what I mean? That was his cell buddy. He couldn't get out away from him. And he came to me one day and he was like, man, that nigga keep asking me, can he wrestle with me and blah, blah, blah. And I said, man, don't play no games with nobody, dude. What's wrong with you? Don't play no games with that dude. I said, that dude ain't nothing but a freak. Leave that chunk alone, man. Don't do that. He said, I don't be playing with him, but he be getting mad because I be pushing him off me. I said, he been up on you like that already? He said, no, he just be grabbing on me. So I said, man, look, man, handle that things, man, like you supposed to. Because if you don't, he going to keep on doing what he doing until he gets you. You know what I mean? So my little man came, and the next few days or so, they had a big old argument, spilled over on the chair. And I went up to the dude, and I told the dude, I said, man, leave him the fuck alone, man. He don't want to be bothered with you. You know what I'm saying? You keep on trying to go at Shorty. So a lot of the guys was like with me, you know what I'm saying? And they agreed with me because they ain't really dig dude either. You know what I mean? Like that. So me and him kind of went up and, you know, put our hands together. And I was, you know, I'm good at boxing. I'm boxing stuff. I box in the joint, you know, and all that. And, you know, that happened. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just not no advantage taking type of dude. Hello?
Let me reverse you for a minute. You hear me?
Hold on. I got you. Okay, yeah.
Can you hear me real quick?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
So let me ask you this, right? Let me take you back to when you see Muhammad get slashed, right? Does he die? Does he lose his life in there?
Yeah, he died. He died. Yeah.
What was it like for you? Because you said you got cold and you froze. Did that affect you mentally or in your mind?
Hell
like,
yeah.
The man lose his life.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. I'm human. I'm a human being. Anybody that tell you that they don't or they don't feel, that's bullshit. You know what I mean? We got many complexities about ourselves as human beings, man. We ain't gorillas. You know what I mean? We ain't apex animals. We humans, man. We got emotions, feelings, sensitivity, all that about ourselves. Any dude that I don't care, the hardest nigga, he sees stuff. It's certain, it's certain things that awaken your soul. You know what I mean? You see a dude laying there like that, fighting for his life and can't save his own self, and he gasping for air and breath, and he dying, and you know he dying, and you seeing the spirit of himself leaving him. Man, that shit is deep. Yeah, it traumatized me to a point that it made me so cold. I'm talking about when I say I felt cold, and even when I got in my own stabbing, that was the mentality I had,
Let's talk about that. Your own stabbing. What happens? Why'd you end up having to stab someone in prison?
Well, I moved from out of the prison I was in because they sent me my point system started decreasing. And they sent me into a medium security job, and that was they call it the old jail. It's up Hagerstown. And up there, they was having them little Baltimore, DC little clashes, right? And I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of like I told you earlier in my little story, a lot of my friends was from Baltimore too. A lot of them was good buddies of mine. They still are right to the day. You know what I mean? And I'm not one to evolve into where you from. You know what I mean? It's where you at. Like I'm gonna give you another good example. One of my best buddies was a white guy, 9-volt. You know what I mean? My man, straight man. You know what I'm saying? And another one, Chris. They come out the pen with me. Another just thorough dudes, you know what I mean? And I love them to life. Would do anything, lay my life down for them on that level. You know what I'm saying? And I got a lot of respect because of the way I was. You know what I'm saying? You know, anybody that know or have been through the penal system in Maryland, they'll tell you about Lil Mike Tyson. That was what they called me. You know what I'm saying? And you know, that was just me, man. I was well respected. I you know what I mean? I didn't take a lot off anybody, but I was a good guy. I wasn't going around on no gorilla shit. You know what I mean? I just was a solid dude. You know what I mean? And because of that, you know what I mean, I gained a lot of respect from dudes all over. And then when the situation did happen with me with the stabbing, you know, that shit travel with you. You feel me? When you do something like that, it follows you. You know what I mean? And when it was this guy, I ain't gonna call his name because a lot of people know about it, but because after it happened, me and him could never be in the same jail again, the same prison. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it was this guy. He came in where we was at in the old jail, and I moved from the inside into the dormitories because I was playing football on the football team. So if you play sports the intramural games, they will move you into the dorms. So I was playing football. They moved me into the dorm, and my uncle, who was locked up there with me, he was the football coach. So he got me moved into the dorms so I could play on the team. So in the meantime, this other big dude named, I ain't even call his name, but he was out there. And he was in the dorm, man. He was just like kind of taking niggas for bad. So, you know, we all, you know how you get your packages and stuff, your you know, whatever from your family, your holiday packages, your clothing packages. So I had just got a package in with some tennis shoes, some other little stuff my girl had sent me and everything. And I'm coming back, you know, from out the inside to the outside. And he sent one of his little goons, little flunkies out there and told me, said, yeah, when you come in the dorm, make sure you pass that bag down here. You know what I mean? To my locker. And I was like, shit, whatever. Yeah, okay. So I got back in the dorm, and my bed was close to where they was at. I'm in 28. I was in bed 28B dorm. So my bed was all the way in the back. The bubble was all the way up front. You know what I'm saying? To the guard jump. And I'm all the way in the back by the back door. And the dude and them, they over in the corner that they had over on the left of me. I'm over to the right, a little down further than them. So I get down to my bunk area. I'm taking my stuff. I'm putting it in my locker and putting it up and everything. So the dude say, man, Slim, you hear what I said, yo? I said, huh? I said, no, I ain't hear shit. You know what I mean? So he sent this little skinny dude over there. And, you know, back then we had a little corner where we would go up in, you know, and rumble where the police couldn't see us, right? One-on-one. So we go up in the jump and I bangs his ass out, right? So big man mad. He mad. He like, yeah, okay. He said, nigga, if you get him, I got one more coming at you. So everybody like my man and them, Terry, Mingo, everybody, they come, look, handle that business. You know what I'm saying? So we get outside in the evening on yard, and I'm walking the yard with my men and them, and I tell my uncle that I needed a situation. You know what I mean? That was a shame, right? And I said, I need that thing. So he sent me a ice pick over, and I always knew what my father always told me. He said, son, if you get the leader, the head, the body ain't going to be nothing, right? And I took that to, you know, I used that lesson because I knew I had to get him because he was the one sending out the order. You know what I'm saying? So, and I watched his habits. I watched his habits every day for a good little while. And he had an issue with jacking off, you know, in the bathroom. You feel me? And he would go in there and put his little pictures up on the walls, you know what I mean? And go up in the shower area and, you know, steam up the joint and go in there and do his thing, right? So I said, okay, I know what to do. And that's what I did. I waited for him to go up in there, and I went up there and lit his ass up, and I paralyzed him. and they tried to give me 9 years in Washington County. Yeah. But what happened was they put me on lockup for 9 months, right? I got 9 months on lockup. They told my family that I wasn't in the prison, that my family didn't know where I was at, nothing. You know, they told them I had transferred, and people inside the prison, like other inmates and convicts, they was looking, they didn't even know where I was. They was like, Shorty must have left the jail, or, you know, we ain't heard nothing. And then I couldn't drop no kite to them, you know what I'm saying, and let them know that where I was at. So everything that I was doing, they was blocking it down. But what happened was some of the brothers got together out there, and they wrote letters to the captains and the lieutenants and stuff, and the major, and they told them what was going on. And they, you know, like the dude was trying to lean, you feel me? And that stuff went to court with me when I got to court. And when I got out of Washington County, they ran the years in concurrent with my sentence. Yeah. But yeah, man, and then, you know, they put me out that prison. Then they sent me to another joint where I ended up there with my brother, you know, and we got up there, and then we you know, we was just all together, man. We just stuck together, and we did, you know, we tried to do what we had to do. And my brother kept telling me, he said, look, man, he said, you're going to have to get your shit together, because he was hearing about me. He said, you got to get your shit together or you ain't never going to come home. And that shit just kind of sunk in, Chad. You know what I mean? And I was like, you know what? It's time, man. And I was like, I never forget it. My grandmother had passed away. And love you, baby.
Love you, man.
Yeah. This is my brother right here, Chad. We look at that. We done came home together. Now we together and working at
much respect, Chad. Much respect, baby.
At our barbershop.
My man right here.
Yeah. So you know, my grandmother passed away, and it hurt me, man, because my grandmother was a big part of my rearing. You know what I mean? Raising me. And she always told me, she said, Johnny, God can save you. He can help you. Just believe in him. And I never forget it, man. My father sent me a calling card to the prison, and asked the administration, could they let me call my grandmother, because she wanted to talk to me before she passed. And he sent that card in, and they called me down there that night and asked me, did I want to talk to her? So I talked to my grandmother on the phone, and she repeated those same words. She said, you know, I love you. She said, but you know, God can save your life. And I broke down, man. I broke down. I went back to my cell, and my cell buddy was in there. My man, he had 25 years, no parole. Brother named Leon Spriggs. I'll never forget it. And I was in there, and he said, man, he said, it's going to be all right, John. He said, but just do what she told you to do. Try it. Just try it. And I'll never forget it, man. I got on my knees, Chad, and I started praying to God for a change. You know what I mean? I wanted God to change my life. I had my daughter out here, everything. And I just started on a daily basis, man, just trying to manipulate my behavior into something better. You know what I mean? And that started with me, first of all, respecting myself and having more values with me. You know what I mean? Putting some no's on what I would say yes about. You understand what I'm saying? So I began to build that character, man, over the years. And sure enough, man, I got myself together, Chad. I turned myself around, and I started going to school. I started going to college, taking up trades. I got into barbering. I started doing all that stuff. And, man, I just started trusting God to rebuild my life. And then I met a beautiful lady and while I was in there, and man, that changed my life. And I just started continuing to do the right thing, man. You know what I mean? And as I did it, I grew. You know what I mean? And even though I was inside a penal system, I had made my mind up to God. I'm on an interview. I made my mind up to God to make those changes. You know what I'm saying? And as a result of that, you know, those changes took place in my life. But it's something that all of us got to do at some point. We got to get to the point where we say, hey, man, enough is enough. This shit ain't adding up, man. This shit ain't getting me nowhere. You know what I'm saying? I'm running into walls like shit. You know what I mean? And we keep running into them, and we keep going through that shit, and we never ever gonna get a chance to build and grow ourselves if we don't make that change, man. And that shit just woke me up, and it changed me. And you know, when I got hit with that knife, man, that shit woke me up some more. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, you know, this shit is like God chipping at me, man. He chipping at me.
Let me stop you. You said you got hit with the knife. Someone stabbed you in there?
Yeah.
Where'd you get stabbed at, bro?
Right up in the back, right here, and on the side of my stomach, right here. Yeah.
What stabbed you for?
We was playing. We was outside, man, and we was playing. We had a football game that day, and we was winning. Another situation, Baltimore guy, right? Another situation, Baltimore guy. We was playing game. We was playing a football game, and we was winning. You know how games are. You know, you turn, you cheat. You turn, you cheat. You turn, you cheat, and you know, shit was happening, man, and I got to turn them, you know, talking shit. You know what I mean? Running them, and I, you know, I got kind of petty. You know what I mean? I was eating his, I was just on his ass. I wouldn't let up. You know what I mean? Because he was hot. He was like, man, John, go ahead with that shit, Tyson. Go ahead, man. You all right? Y'all won, and I was riding his ass good, right? And I said, oh yeah, when the motherfucking Redskins lose or we lose a game, y'all and our shit like that. I don't say nothing about you. You feel me? So he like, oh nigga, blah blah this and blah blah that. So we had, you know, we got out of hand, and he had said, I think, yeah, he called me a bitch, and I went up to him and, you know, smooshed him in the face, and I shouldn't have put my hands on him. You know what I mean? Because we was just communicating, talking, and it was, you know, one of them things. And man, the shit just didn't stop there. You know what I mean? And he had this little toothbrush, and the shit, I ain't know it was a fucking razor on it. You know what I mean? But when when it hit me, the shit felt so cold, it opened me up. You know what I mean? I was like, what the fuck? It was burning and shit. I'm like, damn. And me and this nigga, so I grabbed him and I throws him to the ground to, you know, to disarm him and take his little toothpick from him. But by that time, my man and them had came and got me off of him and, you know, broke the shit up. And it was by the grace of God that it wasn't bad. You know what I'm saying? But it was bad, but it wasn't bad. And I was so fucking stupid, Chad. Let me tell you what happened. That I didn't even go to the infirmary. I let my man and them keep patching me, you know what I mean, putting the shit on me or getting some Vaseline, you know what I'm saying? And the shit got infected, man. You know what I'm saying? It got infected. And that's what made me go to the infirmary like a month or something later. I came down with an infection. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up going to the infirmary and shit and told them something happened outside when I was playing football. And by being that long, they believed me. You know what I'm saying? But after that, me and dude, we got cool. We was cool. It was, you know, man on man shit. You know what I'm saying? But it don't have to go there. You know what I mean? You got to know when to stop. You got to know when to hold. And you got to know when to fold. And it don't make you no chump or punk or a sucker to do that. And that's the bullshit we on. You know, it's like the Bible says, pride comes before every great fall. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta put your pride aside because that shit'll get you in trouble. You know what I'm saying? You know, I think about Mario and all them dudes that died up in there and shit, man. Sometimes, dude, you gotta walk away and settle yourself and get the fuck away from this dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, putting your hands on dudes. People, grown men, man. You know, and I'm gonna tell you, man, I think like in the Maryland system, right, it's different because in the feds, you clicking up with everybody. Like, say, for example, I'm coming in there and me and you cool as shit. But we gotta separate because of our, you know, ethnic, you know, differences. You feel me? What the fuck kind of shit is that? Men don't do that, man. But see, that's the way that the penal system, even in the feds, keeps y'all divided. They divide y'all. But if all of y'all came together in there and stood together, DC Serranos, Italians, all that shit, and stuck together, you will become more unified. But they know you not because they already separate y'all. A DC car, a Muslim. Look at how this sounds. You got the DC blacks and you got DC dudes. Okay, you got the Muslim dude. Now, soon as some of them even from DC, most of them, as soon as one of them go through something, y'all end up fighting each other because of the division. But if y'all all together, the division don't stay.
It's like this, brother. Together we'll conquer as one will fail. But let's go here before we get ready to go, right? You end up doing 17. Do you win an appeal? How do you get out in 17? Is it just a good time? How does that work over there?
Well, what happened was I had never did a reconsideration hearing, right? And I called. No, I didn't. I had called my lawyer that I had, a dude by the name of Leonard Rosenberg, was a lawyer for all these big boys out here, and he told me, he said, Jonathan, he said, why'd you wait so long to asked me to put a reconsideration hearing in. And I was like, man, because I figured I had to get some shit done under my belt, you know what I mean, and all that before, But sure enough, we put in the reconsideration and went to court. The judge gave me, took one of the 20s back and left me with a 20, right? And they put me in this program that they had in this place called Patuxent. It was a drug program. And I was one of the first entries into that program of a young guy that had a drug charge. The prison that they sent me to was only for murderers, rapists, just all violent shit. You know what I'm saying? And it was a program that had a therapeutic concept to it. But they had opened it up. They had put this new drug program down there and on the other side of it. And they were bringing young guys and people in to go through the program. It was a 28-day program if you finish it, and then you would go up for parole. And your parole see that you finish the program, then they will either parole you or give you a hit. Now, my first time up for parole, I got a 3-year hit. Okay. And when I got close to that 3-year hit being up, that's when I went and applied for my reconsideration hearing. My lawyer got me back in court within like 60 days. And I went before the judge, and the judge suspended that sentence. Then they sent me to that program down in Jessup for the drug program, and I completed it, and I came home, man. And I've been out. I came home in 98, and I've been home ever since. I've never been back. I opened my own barbershop and beauty salon. That's the success story they did on me right there in the paper for the Washington Post and the PG Journal. Barber makes clean cut from prime. Yeah, man. So I ain't look back. You know what I mean?
That's what's up, man. So you're out here, you're doing big things, man. You got the barbershop. I know you were cutting all the kids' hair, doing all kinds of stuff. What's it like to live free, man? How you feel today?
Chad, I said this to you earlier, man. And I first want to say this, man. I thank God for you, bro. I really do. You're doing a wonderful job. You know what I mean? I salute you, champ. It's not many people, man, that come out and look back and try to draw up and bring forth people out that same dismal crib. You know what I mean? But you should look at yourself every day, look in the mirror, man, and just feel blessed, dude, for what you're doing. You know what I mean? When your children grow up, I heard you talk about your 2 little kids. When they grow up, man, they'll be able to say, hey, that's like I tell my children. When they put me in the ground, they'll be able to say that's a man in that hole. You know what I mean? And that's the same thing I say to you. Man, I enjoy my freedom, Chad. I enjoy working every day. I enjoy not looking over my back. seeing if somebody's coming. I enjoy riding, sometimes even getting pulled over by the police, knowing that I'm good. You know what I mean? Knowing that I got a driver's license and I ain't got no dope or no drugs. I feel good, man. You know what I'm saying? And not to say that I look forward, but just on that level, man, I'm thankful. I'm grateful, man. I love my children. You know what I mean? My boy and my girl, Johnnika and John. I love them with my life, man. You know, my grandkids. I lost my oldest son in July of 19. Some dude robbed him and his friend. And my son's never been in no trouble, but he gave the guy a ride, and the dude robbed and killed him and his friend. You know what I'm saying? And that was real hard for me, man. Real hard to deal with. But I'm holding on, man, and I'm taking every day, one day at a time, realizing that time is the best thing, and it is that number one commodity that God gives all of us to make it either better or worse. And I choose to make it better. You know, I choose to forge that tool that's going to forge my life. You know what I mean?
I hear you, man. Listen, man, I definitely appreciate you coming on. Where can they find you at, man? What barbershop? Where you at?
I'm right here, man. I'm over here at 1946 County Road in District Heights, Maryland, right on the D.C. line, man. I'm right on the line from right down the street from Southern Avenue, Pennsylvania Avenue. I'm right here. You can walk to my shop from D.C. So I'm right on the line, right over here off of Walker Mill Road. I'm also on YouTube on Jonathan Williams, 1505. It's called Big John Spot. You know, where I try to show some good content, you know, things that's going on in the world. I talk about things. I've been lately following the Young Thug trial and stuff like that, man. Just trying to, you know, talk in between it, letting, you know, people know that, you know, having all the money in the world don't, you know, you got to make a change. You still got to get away from them guys and not feel bad when it's time to leave them when they ain't doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm on. That's what I do. I mean, I'm very active in the community. You know, I donate clothes. I sponsor children. You know what I mean? I give back. I'm just, man, whatever I can do to assist or help and bring the rise of people, man, and help somebody. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at, man. You know, the barbershop supports it. The guys in here, they are all for it, man. And we just trying to live life on life terms. You know what I mean? And that's it.
What's up? I might come up there, man, that kid I interviewed the other day and watch that fight. Maybe I'll come in and get a cut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Do that, Chad. I got you, baby.
You think I'm playing? I might show up, man.
Hey, dude. I was thinking about going to his fight too. You talking about our buddy, Cuban Assassin? Yeah. I wrote him. I hit him yesterday. He was in there training, and I was watching the way he was throwing his right hand because you know I train fighters too, and I've been all around the world doing that. I had 2 world-class fighters. Yeah, and I was telling him, sit down on your right hand a little bit. You know, sit down on it and drop it and get that level yourself off so your punch can have more power. You know what I mean? But he's pretty sharp, man. He's pretty sharp.
I think the kid is sharp. I've been around the fight game my whole life, man.
Man. He pretty sharp, Chad. He pretty sharp. I watched him, man. He got good movement. He got excellent hands, man. You know what I mean? Only thing that's off with him, and that's going to come with him continuously training, his timing. His timing is a little off. I watch him hit the pads, you know what I mean? And he hit the pad, but his timing a little off. So that's the only thing. But, man, that come with time. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad that all I want him to do is simmer down. He hype. You know what I'm saying? But he's a good little brother, and he just got to slow down and stay focused. You know what I mean? And because everybody can't handle that type of energy. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that energy can uproar somebody else. You know what I mean? But he a good dude. I like him, and I would love to come to his fight too, man. Hit me up, Chad. We can roll together or something, baby.
100%, man. I think I'm going to show up there. But listen, man, I appreciate you coming on. We're going to put your links in the bio. Anybody wants to check you out, man, you're doing big things. You're doing good things. Probably one of the best interviews that I did, man, because you gave people some knowledge, man. Blood on the Razor Wire TV. With respect, until tomorrow, we're out.